Hello everyone, this is Kona, and thank you for tuning in to another TF2 commentary. Now let's talk about custom maps and custom game modes, since there seems to be a lot happening there in addition to the weapon tweaks. As much as I love playing the old TF2 maps over and over again, bad water, I'm really glad to see custom maps being added to the game, and with the addition of the community maps available on the TF2 workshop, it's even easier to discover all these new maps all in one location. Actually, when these maps were added to the workshop, I was gonna make a video of my top 5 favorite custom maps, but then Valve made some community-made maps into official TF2 maps, and I was like, well, there goes my list, thanks Valve. Anyway, what really caught me by surprise was when Valve actually came out with a new game mode called Pastime. It kind of reminds me of the time when they released Doomsday and Manpower mode. It just completely caught me off guard. I wasn't really expecting it, and it was a nice change from playing the old TF2 maps. Now first up, I want to talk about the custom maps that were added, more specifically Borneo and Sweden. I hope I'm pronouncing those right. Now I know that Plow and Powerhouse were also added, but I'll get to those a little bit later on. So for these custom maps, they're a really nice addition for me personally because they were for game modes that I really like to play. My personal favorite game modes are Payload, Attack Defend, and King of the Hill. But for like 2 to 3 years or so, Valve was working hard on other areas of the game like MVM and such, and they also released community-made maps that were 5 CP maps like Foundry, Process, and Snakewater. So when they released these 5 CP maps, I wasn't really excited for them since I don't really play that game mode a whole lot. So for me personally, it's been a really long time that, since I've been excited about a new map that I actually want to play. Now for custom game modes, I think the 3 major new game modes that are currently in beta are Robot Destruction, Manpower, and Pastime, and this most recent game mode, Pastime, was a real big surprise to me. Now, Robot Destruction was released in July 2014, so last year, and I haven't really seen too much development on it for a while. The game mode is fun, I'll admit, I really like the map, it's kind of a unique map. But it can still be a little confusing because when I first saw these little robots running around, they were like everywhere, and when I destroyed one, I was like, so did I do something important, or are those robots just there to get in my way, So even to this day, I don't really know how the scoring system really works in Robot Destruction. I usually just go around just killing people. Now in Manpower mode, that was kind of a surprise too. It's an interesting twist to CTF, and some of the power-ups are pretty crazy when you combine them with certain loadouts. And when Valve added more maps for Manpower, I was thinking, okay, maybe they're sort of done with Robot Destruction, and they're gonna work on this new game mode now. They're gonna work on Manpower. But then, freaking out of nowhere, they released Pastime, another beta game mode. This has got to be one of the strangest game modes in TF2 so far. There's the passing and shooting mechanic with the jack that, that seems to lock onto people. You have map elements that can make you jump higher and jump further. There's a haste power-up kind of in the middle of nowhere that, I guess they took from Manpower mode. You can see through walls, kind of like wall hacks, I guess. You can kind of see where everyone is. That's kind of strange. Usually you only get that in spectator mode. And you can see everyone's linear position on the map, so it's almost like you're having a one-dimensional mini-map on the screen. Now, I have some mixed feelings about this game mode because it just seems so different from all the other game modes, and it doesn't feel like your traditional TF2. It sort of just feels like you're playing some other game or game type with TF2 characters. And also, the map feels really big. It feels huge, honestly. It's really long. And they try to help you out with this by adding things like those boost ramps, so you can go faster and stuff like that. But I usually just end up picking Scout because I really want to go fast around the map. But so at some point Scouts are not that great because people set up sentries and it's like, no one's picking the counter to sentries, and it sort of just gets like kind of frustrating and such. So it's a fun game mode just to play once in a while, but it's okay. Alright, so on one hand you have custom maps of existing game modes like Borneo and Sweden, so they feel somewhat familiar, and on the other hand you have completely new game modes like Pastime, which can get kind of confusing to learn, but I think after a while you get the hang of it. Now, what I really enjoyed most about the gunmetal update was actually somewhere in the middle of this, and that's with the two other maps that were released, Snowplow and Powerhouse. I think these maps strike a nice balance between just being a custom map and being a new game mode. For instance, Snowplow, which was supposed to be released during the end of the line update, seems pretty much like your traditional attack-defend map. The only thing that really threw me off at first was the lower timer, but that's just because of how it works with the train's health percentage. I know Valve said that this game was too confusing to play, but I think it's just because that there's a train involved, and it's a train, but it's an attack-defend map. So, you know, the mix of those two was maybe confusing, because, you know, when us TF2 players, at least for me, when I see train tracks, I immediately think payload. But the train is just sort of there to guide players along this linear map. You know, and when you think about the train, it's actually kind of weird. It can kill you, of course, but it moves crazy fast. It has crazy acceleration. Sometimes when I capture the point, I just sit on the point and look at the train because I want to see that thing just take off, like at unrealistic speed. It goes from 0 to max speed like instantly, and then it stops instantly on the other end. It's just kind of funny. Also, there's Powerhouse, which was the other map that was released, that I was very surprised at how much I actually enjoyed this map. Now, I usually hate 5 CP maps because of, you know, the whole back and forth and the fact that the map is so long, but with this new 3 CP map, the map feels tighter and it doesn't take quite as long to get to the action, so there's always something to do. And that's what I like. Quick to the action, and the hotspots are very concentrated, which makes for fun gameplay. Kind of like Payload and Attack Defend, they sort of have this where in those game modes the hotspots are sort of well known and people aren't as spread out, so this makes for you know, really exciting team fights. And oh gosh, I'm calling them team fights. I've been playing way too much Dota 2. Anyway, I think Valve might have something here with these new custom maps that change the well-established game modes just slightly so they're easier to understand when you first play them, yet they're different enough so that it feels fresh. So those are my thoughts on custom maps and custom game modes in TF2. While the custom game modes are a nice break from playing Badwater 24/7, I still enjoy custom maps of my favorite existing game modes like Payload, but I'm also enjoying this new breed of custom maps like Powerhouse and Snowplow, where they feel fresh and new yet familiar all at the same time. So my question for you is, which one do you like more? Custom maps of older game modes or completely new game modes? Or do you like a mix of both? Let me know in the comments below. So I hope you enjoyed this video, thank you very much for watching, and have a great day.